What is going on, degenerates? My name is Brandon Big Poppy Medina. You are tuned in to the Fantasy Gods Extra Point. This is the show during the week where we get to break down what's happening in fantasy football, what's happening in our gambling lives. I am super excited for this episode. There has been a ton of movement all over the NFL. You got Cam Akers coming to the Minnesota Vikings. You got Kareem Hunt back in Cleveland. And guess what? Unfortunately, we have Nick Chubb out for the season. Massive implications, massive fantasy football show. This is coming to you. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. We're going to talk prop bets for tonight's game. We're going to be talking about prop bets for Sunday's slate of games. We're looking at all of our bets and how we've been doing, all that great stuff and more. Welcome to the Fantasy Gods Extra Point. Again, before we start, go follow me on Twitter at Big Poppy Brandon M. Again, that is at Big Poppy Brandon M. A big shout out to Mad Pecker Brewing Company, our title sponsor, the best place to grab a drink in San Antonio. Go check them out, as well as Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee Shop, the best coffee in San Antonio. Why go to Dutch Bros? Why go to Starbucks? Why go to any of those places? Don't be basic. You're not a basic bitch. You're a degenerate gambler like I am, and you are a fantasy football champion, and only champions go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee Shop. Go ahead and grab yourself some Mudslingers coffee today, tomorrow, and every day after. But getting into the show, let's start with the unfortunate ending of our boy, our man, our betting accomplice, Nick Chubb. His season is done. If you haven't seen the injury, don't watch it. It is ruthless. It is rough to watch. Nick Chubb has hit every bet I place on him for rushing almost all the time. He has been an incredible fantasy football prospect, an incredible guy by all accounts, and a fantasy football league winner and one of the best pure runners in all of football. He is done. Jerome Ford slides in and has a great game, right? This is the same organization that said, Kareem Hunt, you're not good enough anymore. Jerome Ford's our guy to go with. We're not going to re-sign you. Then Jerome Ford has a badass game, and they say, hey, Kareem Hunt, welcome on back, brother. Psych. We were just joking. We were just kidding. It was the classic Southside San Antonio girl going, you know what I mean? And so Kareem Hunt is now a Cleveland Brown again, a place where careers go to die. However, Nick Chubb has flourished. Deshaun Watson looks like shit. He looks awful. Does not look good at all. But the Cleveland Browns do go in, compete, lose to the Steelers. It was one of the worst games I've ever seen on Monday Night Football. It was so awful. Playing hot potato with the ball, turnovers on turnovers on turnovers. We're looking to have a better game slate this week. Lots of big favorites. But before we go into this week, let's talk a little bit about last week. Again, Nick Chubb, we wish him well. We wish him the best. We'll get into the implications about Nick Chubb, as well as more news in the running back area. But before we do, last week, guys, if you're betting with us on the Fantasy Gods, again, the show comes out 10:30 to 11:30 every Sunday here on the Alamo City Podcast Network. This is the Fantasy Gods Extra Point, my midweek show. I want to bring this show to you guys Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's just not enough time to get everything out, but Thursdays it is today. You'll definitely be getting at least one show a week of this Extra Point, hopefully two, and then you got the Fantasy Gods original show, the statement show. The best way to wake up on a Sunday with your barbacoa and Big Red. So that's going to be every Sunday from 10:30 to 11:30. But last week, guys, a big week in betting. We went 8-5. We went 8-2 the week before, 8-5 last week, bringing our record to 16-7. We are hitting on these bets. Joe hit a crazy parlay week one, a absolute bang of a way to bring in the show. And then I hit my locked in, can't miss parlay of the week. Last week we had the Chiefs money line, never in doubt. Packers +3, never in doubt. Desmond Ridder, you're basura, kid. And then we had the Giants money line. The Giants that had just got killed by the Dallas Cowboys. We said, you suck, but the Cardinals suck worse, and they had a comeback to cash us out. That parlay hit $435 if you bet $100 on it. So a really, really solid one there. And then we hit on a ton of prop bets. I mean, we had Nico Collins. I told you guys, when are they going to follow me? The sports books stealing money from the sports books. Stop putting this guy at 3.5 receptions, 4 receptions. He's the number one guy for the Houston Texans. Tank Dell also looked incredible. We said, go ahead. No Deontay. George Pickens. Trust the process. Massive game for George Pickens in the yardage. That hits. We also took Christian McCaffrey's rushing yards, which we'll be taking in Thursday, just a tease. The dude is a monster. Take it till it doesn't work anymore. And then, of course, we took James Conner. He unfortunately does not hit. However, we also took a bunch of other bets. We took Tony Pollard over rushing yards. He hits that with ease. We took Brian Robinson. Both of those guys might have sweat a little bit. He hits that with ease. We were just nailing picks when it came to different parlays. So definitely look for us to hopefully keep that run going into Thursday Night Football and Sunday slate. So with that, let's talk about running backs, guys. Let's talk about where we stand. Cam Akers, a Minnesota Viking. Alexander Madison fans, you should be nervous. You should be scared. Alexander Madison at his best was as a backup, and that's from a Vikings fan. He has not shown enough with the 2 games we've seen to establish himself as the for sure starter. This could be a split backfield. I don't really want to play either of them until we see what Cam Akers gets, maybe in week 4, but I do think Cam Akers has more talent. Solid pickup by the Vikings. I love that. Another great weapon out of the back to maybe dump off. So I'm a big fan of it. Also, you traded Cam Akers and a pick swap for a late round pick. I don't know how the Rams benefited at all from this besides getting him off the squad, but whatever, bro. We'll take that. No problem. Sounds good. So that's one to look at. The Rams running back core now is, listen, if you have Kyron Williams, welcome to the playoffs. You're going to be running this kid into the ground. He truly is going to be the workhorse back that we thought you were drafting in Cam Akers, that we thought you were getting in Cam Akers. He, unfortunately, is gone now. Let me tell you, if you are a Rams fan, the Rams are fantasy football lifesavers. Puka Nacua, the coolest name in the world. Puka Nacua. It sounds like I'm listening to the guy from 50 First Dates with the Reese's Cup. But anyways, Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams are easily the top 2 guys from a fantasy football aspect as far as getting picked up on the free agency waiver wire. I'm sorry, getting too excited thinking about Reese's Cups and 51st Dates. But anyways, Puka Nacua and him are tearing it up. Cam Akers, you still don't know what you got. We still don't know if he's going to be the guy in Minnesota. But another weapon, Kirk Cousins and Minnesota take on the Chargers. I would assume Cam Akers might be able to play this game. That game's going to be what the good old folks in Lubbock, Texas call a barn burner, Papa. So look forward to that one. That's going to be a crazy game full of offense. Start everybody. But yeah, Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt are interesting guys. Kareem Hunt was basically told you're not the guy to even be the backup. And now they bring him in. I think Kareem Hunt will still be the backup. You have Jerome Ford. Keep Jerome Ford. If you're looking to pivot, you're looking at running backs. Brandon, everybody's taking off the waiver wire. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Calm down, buddy. I got you. Joshua Kelly, still very much available. Didn't look awesome in the start he got with Eckler, but he gets yardage with Eckler in the game. If for some reason somebody left Tyler Algier on the waiver wire, grab him. Matt Breida is going to be there. Saquon Barkley might miss this game. I don't know that he is. It's kind of iffy, but Matt Breida might be someone you're looking at. I don't think he's startable, but all these guys give you that depth, and they can be a spot start if you really, really, really need them to be. I would look elsewhere, but still, options available for you in the fantasy football community there. When it comes to running backs, I also just kind of think Tank Bigsby is going to eventually get some really good work there in Jacksonville, so somebody I'd be looking to pick up. Aside from that, guys, it is depleted, man. It's really, really bad. It's not looking too great. Chuba Hubbard, another guy getting a lot of work over there in Carolina. Miles Sanders has not done much with what he's been given, so I've been really surprised about that too. And then wide receivers, guys, Joshua Reynolds, fellow San Antonian kid, went to John Jay High School for the Detroit Lions. Looks for real. 2 great weeks. Not good weeks, great weeks. Looks like he could be a great flex start for fantasy football. Listen, I've been talking about Laporta for weeks. If you haven't done anything about it, that's on you. When the kid continues to go off, I don't want to hear about it. He's a must-grab tight end off the waiver wire. Other wide receivers look at Tutu Atwell is really solid. The big question in the fantasy community is, will Tutu Atwell or will Puka Nacua be the wide receiver 2 when and if we get Cooper back? And so I think looking at it, it's going to be really interesting, man. Cooper Kupp, yeah. And so it's going to be really interesting, guys. I want to believe Puka Nacua has done more to establish himself. Truly, I think he's probably the guy you want to have. Cam Akers is probably widely available still for a waiver wire pickup. I would pick him up as well. And then if you're looking for trade targets, guys, I saw Garrett Wilson getting thrown in trade talks already, and that's probably the right call on both sides. You might want to target Garrett Wilson, maybe if you believe in the upside of what could be. And if you have Garrett Wilson, maybe that namesake can get you somebody. Josh Jacobs is somebody you should target low. Looking at other running backs across the board, there is not much that's really going to be carrying that heavy load, that heavy lifting. So I do think if you can go and grab somebody like that, like a Josh Jacobs, if you can grab somebody like a Garrett Wilson, who maybe you just trust that the talent wins out. Zach Wilson, guys, let's just talk about this for the Jets. Zach Wilson, when it comes to Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson, the Wilson bros over there in New York, they are massively interesting. I found a stat for you guys, and I want to read it out to you. This is from a guy that I follow pretty heavily, man, and they do really good stuff over there. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. But looking at it, here we go. So looking at the Jets, this is from Cody Brown Bets. Go give him a follow on Twitter at Cody Brown Bets. Really good stuff. Check this out, guys. Check this shit out, man. Zach Wilson. Only 43% of Garrett Wilson's targets were catchable in week 2. If you go play flag football with your best friend and best buds who haven't been athletic since middle school, I promise you, the ball is going to be more than 43% catchable. It's a league low for wide receivers with 5+ targets, and he's 32nd in QB accuracy this season. And like I said, he is killing any hope of Garrett Wilson being a top 10 wide receiver. It's just, I don't see it in the cards anymore, people, like I once did. Another one you should know about, guys, when it comes to maybe trading for, looking at Jahmyr Gibbs, guys. He's going to get finally some big work here. I like it. He saw 21% snap share increase, 34% increase on route participation. And he got 7 more touches than in week 1. So that's one to look at. I like that. But speaking about Josh Reynolds again, guys, 5 receptions, 66 yards, and 2 touchdowns against Seattle. I love it. Josh Reynolds is a must-grab for me, especially with the Mongra still kind of banged up a little bit, still dealing with some minor injuries. And then, of course, if you had Zach Moss, welcome to the Zach Moss show, man. I mean, the Colts, I don't think will have Jonathan Taylor anytime soon. I really could see this being a complete season holdout. Or I could see him maybe getting traded still. I mean, I have no idea, but I think Zach Moss is the guy. Play him until he's not. That's just the point blank matter of it. And then this is the most disgusting one to talk about. It grows. I want to get sick. You know what I mean? I want to get sick to my stomach thinking about this guy, thinking about this man taking this many targets and ruining fantasy days for the other players. Zach Ertz, ladies and gentlemen, Zach Ertz. I know. Trust me. I get it. I hear and see the face that you're making on the other side of the screen. I get it. Zach Ertz leads all tight ends in usage with 18 targets. Guys, this guy ruins fantasy leagues for people, man. Zach Ertz is a tight end that you have to look at. You have to give a second look to. It's the girl that is not the prettiest, but has a great personality, maybe a great body, whatever the case, and you're just like, hey, you know what? A few drinks in, you go, no, this could be something. Zach Ertz is that guy, right? There's no way you're picking up Zach Ertz sober. So whenever it's Sunday night, Monday night, and you're having fun, and then you have that hangover Tuesday, and you're like, whoa, what happened this week? You're going to look and you're going to say, Zach Ertz, 18 targets over the past 2 weeks, 30% target share. Unreal for a tight end. And he hauled 12 receptions for 77 yards through weeks 1 and 2. I mean, just crazy usage. It's just ridiculous. He's a low end tight end one, high end tight end two, but still, if you're struggling at tight end, Zach Ertz is there. I mean, yikes! The bar lights have turned on, buddy. You gotta take someone home. I guess it might as well be Zach Ertz. But those are kind of the big picks we're looking at. Let's talk about who we hit on last week for picks. I said DJ Moore. DJ Moore, get your shit together. And guess what, guys? Had a pretty solid little outing. Now, I will say, the Bears. I'm a Vikings fan, and it's hard. If I was a Bears fan, I guess basketball season's around the corner. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing watching football? Go home. Get some sleep. Get some rest. You got work in the morning. Chill out. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to watch the Bears. But I will say DJ Moore looked better this week. Mike Williams is somebody we mentioned. He looked a lot better this week. I love that for them. I also said, blessed is he who starts. Mr. Not Dalvin Cook, Mr. James Dalvin Cook. James Dalvin Cook had an incredible game, topped 100 yards, really looked good in the passing game, gave you positive usage, was a really good running back, and is right now a top 10 running back in PPR platforms across social media. James Cook, great stuff. I've been riding or dying with Jahan Dotson, man, and I think I'm just going to have to keep going with it at this point. I mean, geez, this guy cannot give us a big week because Terry McLaurin's getting targets. And then you got other guys getting targets. And Brian Robinson scoring touchdowns after getting shot. Antonio Gibson's nowhere to be found. They're still playing, but somehow Jahan Dotson can't get a look, can't get the targets. And it's pissing me off, people. But we did say him again to look at. And unfortunately, we didn't hit on that one. But we said Ramondre Stevenson looked good. He was fine. Lots of big calls that just kind of worked out a little bit. They kind of made sense for fantasy. So overall, I think we did okay. But let's look at kind of what bets are we looking at this week? What are we talking about when it comes to, first off, we'll do Thursday night football. And then what about the rest of football? Now, we are talking about betting on Thursday. The lines are going to change by that Thursday night football game and by Sunday for sure. So if you're listening to this now, I'm going to, in the description, put my prize picks and my underdog links. Go sign up there. They give you a 100% match. I think prize picks might even be more for your first time deposit. Go check that out because I promise you guys, you do not want to miss out on some of these lines. There are some massive, massive opportunities. So talking about specifically just Thursday night football, I like Deebo Samuel higher than 4.5 receptions. Ayuk is hurt right now. We don't know how severely. He probably will still play. George Kittle, also injury prone. McCaffrey is a monster, but Brock Purdy needs to throw the ball somewhere. I'm a big fan of Deebo Samuel in this position. Let's talk about the past 2 weeks, right? This season. 9 targets last week, 6 receptions. The week before at Pittsburgh, 7 targets, 5 receptions, and that was a grinded out game. I do like Deebo Samuel here. I do think he can perform well. As it stands right now, he still has that 4.5 reception mark. He also has 53.5 receiving yards, something you might look at. He's eclipsed that both games as well this week. So another big week for Deebo Samuel, hopefully. The other one, Christian McCaffrey. It's at 78.5 rushing yards. Book it. The dude's a monster. The past 3 games, 116, 152 in Pittsburgh, and then 84 against Philadelphia. All solid defenses playing really well. And, of course, the Philadelphia one goes to, like, last year. But looking at this week, you got the Giants, and you think I'm scared of 78.5? Come on, baby. I live for moments like this. Christian McCaffrey, C-Mac. Let's get it done, baby. CMC is going over 78.5. Book it. And if it's wrong, don't at me. Leave me alone. But let's talk a little bit more about this game and what we could be seeing. One that I do like, and it's an interesting one. It's a weird one, and I get it. Jake Moody. Who the hell is Jake Moody, Brandon? That is the kicker for the San Francisco 49ers. Brandon, why are we betting on Jake Moody? Brandon, why are you talking in third person like Dwayne The Rock Johnson? I'm just telling you, Dwayne The Rock Johnson would tell you, Jake Moody, 7 kicking points, a rounded kicking point total is a buy. His last 2 games, 12 points against the Rams and against Pittsburgh. Watch the Giants. Weird things happen on Thursday Night Football. Weird things happen all the time in these primetime games when the world is watching. Jake Moody will get at least, let's say, 2 extra points when they score, maybe even 3 if they score a lot. And then, of course, you got a field goal here, or maybe they get a BS stop on 3rd down there and here and there. You're already going to be getting into that 7 territory. I do think he goes over that. He's been a monster. This offense has scored 30 points, I believe, in both games. They're a monster. I expect them to just absolutely roll the Giants. Expect very similar to a Dallas Cowboys part 2, maybe not minus 40. The line is at minus 10. Guys, just count the money that you're gonna be making because you need to take the minus 10. I love the 49ers this week, and I love Jake Moody. Those are a few on that side that I like. Okay, that sounds good. What else do you like, Brandon, for the rest of the week? How about CeeDee Lamb receiving yards? 71.5 is his higher on underdog. I love that. Book that. 72 yards receiving for Arizona. Yeah, bro. Give me that. Arizona just got beat by the Giants, who they beat by 40. Give me CeeDee Lamb. His past 3 games going into last season, 143, 77, 117. Absolutely high volume. The other one I like, I said it last week, we roll with it this week. Will we lose it? Maybe, maybe not. But that's why we bet, baby. DJ Moore. Give me the over in his yards. Brandon, he's only hit it 1 time in 3 games. Scared money doesn't make money. Everybody listening, say it together with me. Scared money doesn't make money. If you scared, go to church. And church is the Fantasy Gods on Sunday from 10:30 to 11:30. I am all about this one. Who are they going against? They're going against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be an absolute garbage fest. I mean, they are going to get killed by the Chiefs, I expect. And so what do you got to do? You got to throw the ball, brother. You got to make plays. DJ Moore is the only one catching. Could be a good one for Cole Kmet as well. I also like Cole Kmet. I think he can benefit from this as well. DJ Moore has dropped, as it stands, to only 40.5 receiving yards. I took him higher because I'm an idiot. He's going to smash 40.5 receiving yards. Cole Kmet has 29.5 receiving yards. That's going to smash. He's hit that both games against Tampa Bay and against Green Bay. That's nothing. I love that one as well. And then, of course, Justin Fields, 171.5. That's dropped significantly. It has dropped significantly because the dude's been trash. So I think that's one maybe you should look at too. The other ones that I like, as far as the Sunday game goes, I do like the opportunities for Mr. Brian Robinson Jr., 55.5 rushing yards. Give me that. He's hit that both games. Looks really good. They're going against Buffalo. Oh, I'm scared. Buffalo, I'm scared. You losing to overtime to the Jets. I'm not scared of you, Buffalo. I'm not scared of Kansas City. I'm not scared of Cincinnati no more. We're not scared of these teams. We're taking those bets. Give me Brian Robinson. The other ones I like, Zay Flowers, more than 48.5 receiving yards. They're going against Indianapolis. I'm not scared of the defense. They do have a solid defense. Zay Flowers is still the number 1 target. And then the 2 that I like a lot are in my game, my Vikings game. Give me Jordan Addison over 49.5 receiving yards. And my favorite, probably my big lock of the weekend so far. Don't quote me yet. It might change by Sunday. But one you should get in while it's early. Keenan Allen, more than 75.5 receiving yards. The dude is charging up, pun intended. Take Keenan Allen. Take that game. All those overs might hit. Justin Jefferson set a little high. Kirk Cousins is set a little high. Keenan Allen, 75.5. That's a sweet spot. I like that. Give me that. Yum, yum, yum. I'm eating that all up, baby. So make sure you get those bets, and those are a couple parlay picks. Parlay as you see fit. Take what you like. I also like Bijan Robinson's receiving over. There's a lot of great stuff going on this weekend, man. A lot of great things. If you want to play my can't miss locked in parlay of the week that's coming Sunday, 10:30 to 11:30, follow me on Twitter at Big Poppy Brennan M. This has been the Fantasy Gods Extra Point. I'll see you Sunday. Get your pockets ready and let's go win some money, baby. Peace.